So you're filling out a real estate purchase agreement and you're not sure where to start. Well, I'm not going to go into that whole thing in this video about how to fill out a real estate purchase agreement. That's absolutely ridiculous. I'm just going to show you what you need to know and what's important, because really the real estate agent's going to fill out your purchase agreement, not you. That would be crazy, unless you want to do it privately, in which case you're going to lose loads. Rather get hold of a proper real estate agent. It's lockdown and there's more traffic here than ever before. Lockdown was supposed to end this week. Guess what? Extra 2 weeks. Here we go. No problem. Here we go. But so filling out your real estate purchase agreement is an important factor, and what to do and what you need to know inside that is really something that you've got to take note of and be aware of. So I'm going to explain all that to you in this video, and I'm also going to leave a link in the description box, okay, to my website, which also gives you more insight on a daily, on a monthly basis on what's going on and what have you. And I'm also going to leave a link to a video which helps you with buying a home step by step, actually an entire series. Go and check that out. It's going to help you a hell of a lot. So GillT channel, coffee with Rob. It's a lovely morning with coffee. So good. Anyway, let's get on with it. Let's watch the video. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about effectively is offers and what to offer. So without further ado, let's get started with this. And don't forget, subscribe, YouTube in the description below, Facebook description above, or just like my page, and obviously Instagram. It all comes down, looks good. Okay, so let's get on with the video. So what do you do when you want to make an offer on a house? Okay, so how much are you going to offer? Why, when, how, what's the next step? Especially for a first-time home buyer. You get a lot of first-time home buyers that they just don't know where to start. Okay, so my advice to you is the following. If you're buying a 2.5 million rand house, don't give the agent a 1.5 million rand offer and think that's it, that's where it's going, unless you can afford 2.3 million rand. Okay, don't think that you can lowball the seller and you're going to walk away with a house every single time. Maybe in Joburg you're going to get away with that, but not in Cape Town. Not going to happen. Try and offer within 5 to 10% of the asking price. Look, obviously you've got to look at what the value of the property is and where you stand with it and all the rest of it, but be very careful of that, because the seller might just chase you away completely. Don't lowball too much. Don't go 20-30% down unless you know that's the real value, okay? Because if you don't have the money, rather go and put the offer on a cheaper house that you can afford, all right? If you do have the money, then you can play games. If you don't have the money, don't go with that game. If you can only afford 1.7 million rand and you've got a 2.5 million rand house, don't go there, okay? Especially if the house has got the value and it's got the location. You're just wasting everyone's time, including yours and the sellers. All right. Next trick. Okay, so now you've decided how much you want to offer. You're closer to the price. So you've got a 2.5 million rand house. You're offering 2.1, 2.2 million rand, whatever the case. Maybe you offer asking price. Then you know it's going to get accepted. Okay. So now you've got to go and sit and put it on paper. Don't ask the agent to phone the seller and see if they'll accept, because it won't be accepted, okay? You've got to write the offer down. It's got to be put on paper. That's a real offer. A verbal offer in this country is not an offer. It's a total waste of time. And 9 times out of 10, it'll get rejected, okay? I don't think I've ever had one that was done over the telephone or through a verbal offer that was ever where the seller turned around and said, oh, I'll take that, bring it round. No, it's not going to happen, okay? Put it on paper, let's present an offer, and we're in negotiations. Then we can negotiate. So what do you look out for when you put the offer in? Firstly, you need to know you've got the finance, as we talked about last time. Are we getting a bond? Are we putting a deposit in? Have we got cash, okay? How strong is our offer with regards to that? Because we've got the money, we don't have the money. If we're subject to, we've got a very weak offer. And remember, there's a 72-hour clause in every offer, which basically states that someone else comes along with cash. If you don't have the money, you're out of there, you lose the house, okay? That stands, all right? understand the Voetstoots clause as well. Voetstoots clause does not mean you're buying the house and then that's it. Okay, you can't go back or whatever the case. If the seller has somehow hidden something from you, then there's the Consumer Protection Act, which will protect you from a scenario such as that. Okay, for example, there's no reflux in my house. This roof has never leaked. 6 months down the line, the water comes pouring through the roof. That doesn't mean you can go back and claim it, especially if the roof tiles blew off because of a storm or whatever the case. That's your problem, all right? But if you go up there and determine that he's put buckets there to catch the water, he clearly knew the roof was leaking and he told you it wasn't leaking. So that's a different scenario. That's Consumer Protection Act, okay? So that goes into the offer as well. Look out, make sure that you have an amount for an occupational rent, okay? Don't say, no, don't put that in. I'm not going to rent the place. I'm not doing occupational rent. But in the event that, let's say we have a move date. Everybody needs to know who's moving out, who's moving in when, and nobody wants to be stuck on the road, okay, with a removal truck. So you move in a couple of days early. And the seller says, fine, move into my house, but it's 50 grand a month. And the house is worth 10 grand a month. You're like, what? Why? You know, he can do that. Whereas if you've written in the contract, we will pay you 10 grand a month for occupational rent. It'll be given to you pro rata, divided by the 30 days. You'll pay for that 3 or 4 days, whatever the case. It works both ways, okay? So that amount should be pre-agreed, and make sure you pre-agree on a date of move as well. Don't just say upon transfer. It's easy to say on transfer because that could be any day, all right? And then suddenly everyone's scrambling. How do you plan your removal truck? How do you plan moving out of one house into another if it's pie in the sky? If a date's pie in the sky, you've got no idea, nobody's got any idea what's going on. It's a plus minus, all right? And we don't work with pie in the sky. You need to know when you're moving so that you can plan your life, they can plan their life, and everybody can plan their lives, okay? It's not just about the transfer going over. If you're an investor and you're just buying it for the sake of investment, that's a completely different story. Or if it's a piece of land, completely different story. Nobody's moving in, so that's fantastic. You can just go on transfer, I'll take over, that's it, end of story. That is an exception, okay? But if you're moving into the house, make sure you've got a move date, all right? Then the big thing is agents are pushing. We want you to sign that offer. We want it done today. Time for acceptance. I mean, what's a fair amount of time to allow a seller to accept? Now, I would say, you know, I would want 3 days. I'd want 72 hours to think about it, you know. Some people say 48 hours. Some people say sign it today. Some people say 24 hours. But let's be fair. Think about that, all right? I'd give them 48 hours, give them 72 hours, but think about that. And always worry, because the agent, if he's got an open mandate, will want you to do it in 24 hours, all right? Especially if you're a seller who's worried about the next offer coming in, okay? On a sole mandate, that's not so much of a problem. So try and give the person enough time to think about it so that they can sign it and bring it back to you. They can always extend it if there's a counter offer, whatever the case, that's fine, all right? And understand that there might be a counter offer, okay? So if you go and look at a house for 2.5 million rand, you put your offer in at 2.2 million rand, that's not to say it's done. The seller might come back and say, well, I don't want 2.2 million rand. I've got to pay all these costs and comms and all the rest of it. I want at least 350. It's going to come back to you, so be prepared for that. Think about that. Can I afford that? Do I want to go that high? Or am I going to counter this offer back? Whatever the case. So that's it. So that's a little bit about offers. I just thought I'd bring that up and think about all these things, you know, when you go in and you start putting the offers in, and remember, it's got to be on an agreement. Without an agreement, you don't have a deal, okay? There are no deals that are not on agreements. And if you do it verbally and someone else steps in, you ain't got no agreement, okay? So make sure you put it in writing, send it in to the seller, okay? Lovely stuff. Thanks for watching that video. And hey, don't forget, like, subscribe. Like my Facebook page as well. Follow me on Instagram. Go down to the description, go and have a look at the website. There's lots of stuff on there for you. The nice blog, monthly posts and whatnot tells you about property and what have you. And the reason I ask you to do this is always so that if there's a property tour, and there's not many property tours at the moment because we are on lockdown, but if there's a property tour or something that comes up on special, you get it first. And all these videos, you get them first as well. So keep that in mind. Make sure you do that. And I believe if you knock the little bell, you get notified when these videos come out, so that also helps. Thanks for watching. Cheers. See you next time.